you know, she has a soft touch, but that's a pretty strong indictment.
And it's an indictment that comes from hardcore experience. The verse she used is that it could have been, but we know the number of death threats that Barack Obama lived under as president. It was exponentially higher than any other president and who occupied the White House. So she's talking about something real in her experience, worrying about her babies and worrying about the then president of the United States. I think it's important that we get to the crux of this. And at least you mentioned this. It's hard for us to disagree and me not conclude that the position you take is an indication of your character. How do you draw that conclusion and not be a bad person? And so and that's just hard to do generally. And when you add politics and the stakes of politics in it, it could lead to quickly making that judgment because it's easy. How could you make that, you draw that position, McSally? You could say that we shouldn't talk about health care, we should just talk about the caravan, and then suddenly you show grace. I'm supposed to forget that you said that, as opposed to, and then this is an indication of your character, and that's not.
So what's the remedy for it?
The remedy is for us to have good faith. But at the heart of it is the presumption that you're being a hypocrite when you're being gracious. That you're not really being genuine when you're being civil. That Ronald Reagan could decry bigotry and then declare his presidency in Neshoba County in the name of states' rights. You can say that you're committed to an anti-racist world, that you're committed to racial equality, but everything in your behavior suggests otherwise. And so because there's bad faith, and Charlie and I were talking about this earlier, because there's bad faith at the heart of our discourse, it's very difficult to block that move to the inference that your position is an indication of your character.
Isn't that hypocrisy? What you were describing that as hypocrisy, Reagan's behavior.
Yes.
Okay.
But we have to get back to that assumption of goodwill so that you and I can have a conversation and we can disagree, but we have an assumption of goodwill with one another.
Well, and you know, if you read about Washington in the 70s and 80s and even before that, what was real was that